What's going on YouTube? EarthP0w3R here with CVH.
How's it going, everybody?
And it has been a good week off, friends, but we are back for more Duel Masters season bracket tournament content. Season 3, if you will. Um, yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited. We just got done season 2. It feels like just yesterday. Light Fire Nature Turbo Burn won. No, it didn't. Oh my god.
Nope, it did not. Waterfire Nature Tempo ended up beating Turbo Burn 3-2 in season 2 in an epic fashion. It was a great match, and thank you so much for the support over the course of season 2. The views have been great, the comments have been awesome. It's been super fun to engage, and with that, we are bringing you one of the biggest seasons yet. 10 play-in matches over the course of 5 weeks. And we will get those posted up here in just a moment so you guys can check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, our biggest play-in to date, followed by we chose,
Should I do it
and
now?
I guess we'll talk about this over the course. Yeah, go ahead. I think we'll talk about this over the course of this video. This is going to be a relatively quick one. I don't think CVH and I are going to podcast for the next hour and a half, but you guys can judge it by the length down below. But yeah, we debated for a while, almost over the entire course of season 2, what decks we were going to add as we started playing those matches, because that's just kind of how it goes, right? We jump into a tournament, we've got everything solidified, and then 2 to 3 weeks into a season, we're like, we should have played this, or I wish we had played that, or changed this, or changed that. And so that just ended up coming in the form of what you see here, which is, point to the right direction, the largest play-in tournament yet. So we've got 5 matches culminating in up to 5 gatekeeper matches. Decks that have shown their worth, but still felt like we needed to relegate them to the play-in. And yeah, we just wanted to try to showcase as many different types of decks, because and I'm sure CVH can comment on this as well. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But there's a lot of decks out there, and a lot of decks that are fun and or engaging and or just could be played to semi-competitive levels.
Yeah.
Strength for bearing, of course, but to that point, especially after we relegated Water Fire to the play-in last season, and then it just ran through everybody all the way to top 4. We felt like we should maybe showcase a few more decks here and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, so the play-in gatekeepers are basically decks that are still in the play-in and still have to prove themselves, but basically get a bye, and they only have to win one match in order to make it to the actual top 16 bracket. So yeah, the play-in decks that you see at the top, any one of those would have to win 2 times in a row to make it to the bracket, but the gatekeepers are there to just sort of be like, hey, I'm a tried and true concept. Most of them have been in previous bracket tournaments, except for Light Fire Rush, which is just like a pretty straightforward rush deck, so we know it's kind of strong. And yeah, those are we have the more fun concepts up top and the more tried and true stuff at the bottom.
Yeah, I think over the course of the next 5 weeks, what the format's going to look like as far as posting goes, CVH and I are going to get back in the booth for the majority of this play-in. We've actually, for those, and I guess we'll just throw that in here now, CVH and I started playing IDC tournament. And have been having a lot of fun with it. Turns out Octagon is a much more user-friendly program than I would have ever given it credit for a few months ago. Been enjoying it a lot, been getting really used to the UI, and I think what we're going to start trying to do is kind of a pseudo mix between, I know a lot of people have been asking for us to do live video, similar to how we did in the past, where we just kind of narrate the match as we go. We talk about it. You get a lot of background noise, things like that. Octagon gives CVH and I the ability to still be in the booth, but talk about our match as we play it, and kind of give you guys a live insight into the real-time, thought process of the turns that we're taking. So we are going to give that a shot for a few of these play-in matches, so stay on the lookout for that. But it looks like, I think the general format is going to be, in lieu of just posting 15 more deck profiles, and then as we get into the top 16, which we'll show you guys here in a little bit, all of those deck profiles, you guys have seen a lot of these, and a lot of these decks have just only seen minor tweaks and changes kind of over the course of the last 2 seasons. We noticed that with a lot of decks where we weren't changing all that many cards, but we were still doing a deck profile. So I think what we're going to try to do this season, especially for the play-in, and see how it goes for that, is record all 3 deck profiles in its own bubble. So, for instance, you see 5 Civ Control versus Darkfire Rush. Those 2 matches are going to play in the Gatekeeper match against Phantomac. So we'll do all 3 deck profiles in one video for 5 Civ Control, Darkfire Rush, and Phantomac. And then we'll post the matches for 5 Civ Control versus Darkfire, and then the winner of those versus Phantomac. All in the span of a week. So you got 5 weeks of play-in content. Should make things go a little bit faster, a little bit smoother, and give you guys kind of more of a deep dive, a longer video, if you will, for the decks that we do want to talk about. Some of the newer ones like Darkfire Rush, which we've never really featured here on the channel.
Yeah. And then should we move on into the top 16 decks and see how the bracket
Yeah.
actually works out after these? And by the way, for the IDC tournament, Carl and I are both recording our matches, so those will probably go
Yeah.
up, I don't know, probably the start of next month when this
I
tournament
think so.
finally
Yeah,
concludes.
we'll probably get through play-in, and then we'll record, or I say finish narrating, editing, and we'll post our matches kind of in tandem over the course of a week or so in between this and the top 16. Um, that, or we might do this kind of like that gauntlet series we proposed, where we just post, our round 1, round 2, round 3, whatever, over the course of 6 weeks in between play-ins.
Well, these actually
But
both
yeah,
fit on top of each other, so I'm just going to do that.
love
And there
to
you
see
go.
it.
Yeah.
So, minus the line, so bear with it. I think, yeah, keep that little box on because we can see the.
You know they can't see the
There you
lines, right?
go. Okay, well, I can.
You
Um,
don't know how OBS works.
not at all.
That's
Clearly,
that's for our that's
um,
for our benefit.
absolutely. So, top 16 are the decks that have done well over the course of the past 2 seasons. We felt that those decks especially deserve to be in, at least just be in the main tournament. So we have our top 4 finishers from last season: Tempo, Water Fire Rush, Light Fire Nature Turbo Burn, and Fire Nature Rush. And then the decks that we felt deserved a spot were the winner from season 1, Light Water Dark Nature Mana Burn. And then decks that we wanted to kind of see more matches of, but are still kind of well tested. Alzonius, Alcadius, Water Dark Aggro, which kind of is taking the place of uh, who is it? Hydras.
Hydras, yeah, it's the strictly better
Yes, we've
version
kind of
of Water Dark that
yes,
people play in
as
IDC.
exactly as we've evolved that deck and they've evolved that deck. Shout outs to Claude Alpha. And yeah, Light Dark Fire Nature Foul, which was also the finalist in season 1. And then Light Water Dark Hurricane, Hydro Hurricane, because I think that deck is just generally considered good, for
Yeah.
lack of a better way of saying it. So those are our 11 decks that we ended up keeping in the top 16, and we'll face off against the winners of the Gatekeeper matches of Phantomac, Marino Rush, Light Fire Rush, the Rub mid range, and the Force of Rebirth mid range against whatever their matchups are. So the winners there. So you guys can see it here. It's posted. I know I
Yep.
just kind of spoke through everything you could have read on your own, but yes, I think this is the format we're going with. We haven't seeded the top 16 yet. I think we're going to wait to see how the Gatekeeper matches go throughout play-in, and then we'll post another quick edit video as we get ready to jump into top 16 once the play-in finishes out. Because the goal of this is just to give you matches that are engaging, right? And obviously, we don't want to put all of the top 4 from last season on one side of the bracket. So we'll play around with kind of the seeding and where these things are going to fall. And then the matchups we could kind of expect and see, and just try to gear it towards more engaging content for you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure that out. I mean, you could just tell me how to put it in the challenge bracket, but we'll have the challenge
Yeah,
brackets to show you when we go over the
absolutely.
decks for next for the top 16. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so stay tuned here in the next few days. I think the general format for play-in is going to be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for matchups. We'll post the decks on Tuesday. Follow that up with the 2 matches over the course of the next 48 hours in between, and just follow that format through play-in. Um, don't be surprised if that changes. I know I try to typically stick to a schedule, but it all comes down to whether or not CVH and I can get in the booth and actually record and narrate some of these. And obviously, we still need to play the majority of these. So,
Yeah. A
but
couple
yeah,
have been played, but very, very little. So
very little. Lots gone on. We got together and just a little peek behind the curtains, if you will. There were a lot of decks that were in this play-in originally that are no longer there. So
yeah.
yeah, we sat in between, and yeah, we won't talk about it, but say loop and transmogrify were parts of some decks that just never gonna see the light of day.
Don't play a 1-turn kill Duel Masters deck at 1 a.m. Just don't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Took a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that file exists on a Google Drive, and maybe one day when we're just completely out of content, I'll throw it up there and people can hear how many times we yell
Yeah.
exclamations at each other.
The last video you ever see. Like that one.
Yeah, so that's the one. That's our send off. Like, all right, guys, till 10 years from now, you know how it went. All right, but yeah, I think that's it. So stay tuned. I'm excited. Season 3 is looking to be fun. A lot more matches, a lot more content, and hopefully just more matches in general. I think was the goal of this. I think the deck profile started to wear down, especially on CVH, and I just re-recording all of these. So I'm
This is
excited to do a
Ganta. We're
little
playing
bit of
4
time
of them. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can only say the same thing so many times. So I'm liking kind of what we can do and talk about the matchups and then get in there for the play-ins and see how this all goes. And yeah, until next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And
Hey, just
we'll
a couple
see.
days away. We're gonna do Fire Civ Rush and Dark Fire Rush. It's gonna happen. 5 Civ Control and Dark
Yeah,
Fire Rush. That's coming up in 2
yeah,
days or something.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
stay tuned. So yeah, play-ins starting, and we will be back in the booth. CVH and I'll be looking to get a few guests. So for those of you in the community who are I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but yeah, we'll have some more guests in here, especially X Boom. Get him back in the booth, and then I have plans to get a few more names that you guys may recognize in here with CVH and I to record some of these matches and just have a good time, shoot it around as we will. So yeah, guys, until next time.
Beach.
Beach.